Joan Blondell, Melvin Douglas, and Mary Pickford.
The Gulf Screen Guild Theater. Your host, the director of the Star's own theater, Roger Pryor.
Good evening, everyone. Your neighborhood good Gulf dealer and the Gulf Oil Companies welcome you to the Gulf Screen Guild Theater. This evening, we climax a brilliant season here in the Gulf Theater with one of the brightest comedies of the year, Hired Wife, starring Melvin Douglas as a love-smitten cement king and Joan Blondell as his erstwhile secretary who becomes his wife for business reasons only. The music is by Oscar Bradley's Gulf Orchestra with Frank Tours conducting. Later in the program, we have a rare radio treat for you. Mary Pickford will appear here on our Gulf Theater stage to award one of the most significant trophies in the picture industry. And here come the stars. The audience breaks into applause as Joan Blondell and Melvin Douglas enter our Gulf Theater stage. And now, the house lights fade and the curtain rises on Hired Wife. In tonight's play, you'll meet Melvin Douglas as Stephen Dexter, the Cement King, and Joan Blondell as Kendall, his secretary. I'll step into the role of Van Horn, the company lawyer. Now, our story centers around Mr. Stephen Dexter.
Oh, pardon me, Mr. Pryor. Perhaps I'd better explain about me. I'm Kendall Browning, private secretary to Stephen Dexter of the Dexter Cement Company. He calls me his right hand, but he's never put his left arm around me, darn it. Every year about this time, he gets spring fever and breaks out with a blonde. The symptoms are always the same. He comes in wearing a flower in his buttonhole and whistling, "My Bonnie Lies Over the Ocean," off key. We've had a late spring this year, and so far his temperature has remained normal, and I've been hoping that... Here we go again.
Well. Good morning, Kendall.
Good morning, Queen of the May.
Beautiful morning, lovely day, flowers in bloom. What did you say?
Oh, nothing.
Kendall, last night I had a wonderful inspiration.
Look, Stephen, where have you been? Your lawyer, Van Horn, was here half a dozen times. He's going crazy. He says that combine of rival cement companies is out to put you in bankruptcy.
Oh, nonsense. Van Horn's just a worry bird. Let me tell you about my inspiration. I've decided to change our whole advertising policy. That's why I'm late this morning. I stopped to make some business arrangements with Phyllis Walden.
Who?
Phyllis Walden. She's a model. And she's going to be the Dexter Cement Girl.
She has the head for it, no doubt.
Very funny. Now, you listen to me. The moment I met her, I was sure that she was just the girl for advertising Dexter Cement. I'm going to put on one of my biggest campaigns.
I just bet you are. Now, look, Stephen, why mix business with cement? Why not just file Miss Walden's name under your tickler system until your pulse runs down?
Now, wait a minute, Kendall. You run my business. You arrange my diet. You pick out my clothes. You tell me when to get a haircut, where to go on my vacation, how much I can smoke, and how little I can drink. I bow humbly to your ideas, your rules, and your whimsies here in my office. But outside the office, I'll run my own office.
All right, and now that we're about it, let me set you straight, too. I'm getting just a little bit tired of doubling as nurse for a juvenile delinquent.
I tell you, Phyllis Walden is different. She has character.
What kind?
Oh, you don't even know her.
Do you?
I do. She's fine. She's honest. She's real.
Real? And what am I supposed to be, a cartoon?
We're not talking about you. Now, just for your information, I'm seeing Phyllis tonight, tomorrow night, the night after, and every day and night she'll see me. What do you think of that?
All right. If you're sure it's the real thing, my blessing, Stephen. I won't try to stop you. I'm
now,
through.
listen, Kendall. Listen, I don't want you to be...
Kendall, you heard... Oh, there you are, Stephen.
Hello, Van Horn.
Now, it's about time you showed up. Where have you been? Out with some of your boola friends getting tiddly?
I'm not in the least tiddly.
Well, I am. Oh, my nerves. Stephen, you know what's happened.
Stop twirling. You make me dizzy. What happened?
That cement combine is slapping you with an injunction the first thing in the morning.
Is that bad, Van Horn?
Bad? It'll tie up everything he's got. That rival outfit is determined to get him out of business.
Well, you're my lawyer. Can't you protect me?
Certainly, I can protect you, and I will. In fact, I've got everything all figured out. Stephen, you've got to get married.
Oh, well, that's very... What?
It's the only way out. Then I can put every last penny, every sack of cement, your house, the shirt on your back, and your wife's name, and they can't touch it.
Oh, but gee, there must be some other way out. Hey, look, maybe I can...
No, and you've got to be married today. If you don't, you're a bankrupt. You're a failure. You're sunk. It's either that or marriage.
Oh, well,
Well, what are you stalling about?
I'm just trying to figure out which is worse.
You wanted to put you on a corner with a tin cup? They can do it. Why, in the case of Larman versus Sullivan, I remember that the plaintiff...
All right, you win. I'll get married.
Great. Now, the nearest state in which you can get married without a delay is South Carolina.
South Carolina. Kendall.
Yes, Stephen.
Reserve us 2 seats on the plane to Charleston.
Stephen, you don't mean that... Oh, darling.
Huh? Well, what's the darling for? You get the tickets, and I'll meet you in Van Horn at the airport.
Hey, come back here.
Where are you going, Stephen?
Why, to propose to Phyllis Walden, of course.
You can't go. We've got papers to sign. Transfer a bank account. Power of attorney. They've got to go through before the bank closes.
Well, how can I marry Phyllis if I don't propose to her? Will you tell me that?
Let Kendall do it.
Me? I.
Now, wait a minute, you dope. Someone else can't propose for me.
Nonsense. Look at the case of John Alden versus Miles Standish and Priscilla.
All right.
Now, there was the case.
All right. Kendall, will you please see Miss Phyllis Walden? Tell her I love her madly. And ask her if she'll do me the honor of being my wife. Bring her to the airport.
Stephen, are you sure you love her?
Perfectly sure.
Are you sure she loves you?
Mind your own business. Now find her and bring her to that plane.
I can't drag her by her phony eyelashes.
Will you get her?
Okay, Spring Fever, I'll get her. But don't say I didn't warn you.
Plane 63 ready at gate 4. Southern Swallow for Washington, Charleston, Miami.
Stephen!
Kendall, here I am over here.
Oh, Stephen, I was afraid I was going to be late.
Where's Phyllis? The plane leaves me, man.
I couldn't get her to come.
What, didn't you tell her I loved her?
Well, I told her you adored her madly, but she said she couldn't elope today. Her Pekingese is expecting.
Expecting what? Oh. Well, there goes the Dexter Cement Company.
Oh, no, it doesn't, Stephen. All you have to do is ask some other girl.
What other girl do I know?
Well, there must be someone. Now, think hard. Someone in the office. An employee.
Oh, no. I wouldn't want to ask one of the cleaning women.
Well, how about a secretary?
Who's secretary?
Your secretary, me.
You?
Yes, come on. Do you want to miss the plane?
Feels good to be back in New York. Here's to us, Kendall. Here's to your health, Mrs. Dexter.
And yours, Stephen.
Healthy drink, Buttermilk.
Horribly healthy.
You made me drink my first glass.
Guess I was born, Boston.
Kendall, I just can't tell you how grateful I am for helping me out of a spot. I want you to know you've done me a great favor.
Oh, no, not at all. As a matter of fact, Stephen, I've always wanted...
Yes, indeed. You're a rare sort of woman, Kendall Browning. And this isn't the moonlight or the buttermilk talking. You know, Kendall, ever since we got married, I've been wanting to say
Yes, Stephen.
Well, that it isn't every secretary who'd help her boss out like this. Kendall, you're a good scout.
Good scout.
Yes, sir. Darn good scout.
I guess you'll never understand. Stephen, I must tell you something. It seemed all right until we got back to New York tonight, but now I feel as though I've done a terrible thing.
Kendall, are you crying?
I'm a liar, Stephen.
Well, I've known that for years. And right now I don't seem to care. Here, let me dry your eyes.
No, don't touch me.
Well, gee whiz, a guy can dry his own wife's eyes if he wants to, and you are my wife.
No, I'm only the woman you married. I'm just a substitute for the woman you really want.
Oh, let's not talk about Phyllis.
Well, she'd be here if I followed orders and asked her.
Yeah. What?
I lied to you, Stephen.
You mean Phyllis didn't say no?
She didn't have a chance. I didn't go to see her.
What?
I did it to protect you, Stephen. You've got to believe
Why,
that.
of all the low-down, contemptible, double...
Yes, I know. I admit it.
Oh, now what am I going to do?
What do you want to do, Stephen?
Oh, stop acting married.
But we are, you know.
Stop looking at me like that. Go home.
I am home.
Get out of my house. Ah, there you
are you, newlyweds? What'd you do? Disconnect the doorbell so you wouldn't be disturbed? Not enough.
Oh, get out of the way, Van Horn. I'm leaving Stephen. For good.
What? But you can't.
Oh, yes, I can.
Do you want those vultures to suspect this marriage isn't on the level?
It isn't.
They'll not only break you, they'll send you to jail.
Holy mackerel, can they do that?
They certainly can. Steve, you haven't a chance unless Kendall lives here with you until this storm blows over.
Oh, all right, okay, Kendall. Take off your hat. But that's all. You know, this is going to look awful bad to Phyllis.
What about me? What will I tell my husband?
What?
Oh, not you. The good one I'll marry next.
Don't worry. You can have the bedroom. I'll sleep in the port swing, and Van Horn can sleep on the love seat in the
Thank
hall.
you. I hope you like the port swing. Good night.
I love port swing.
Now, look here, Stephen. I don't think I'm going to like them.
Good night, Van Horn. I suppose there's nothing wrong with the port swing. Good old American institution. Gee whiz, a little rusty. I guess it'll go. Boy. Well, it's not so bad. After all, there's nothing like sleeping out in the open. Fresh air. Night. Stars. Oh, nuts!
So the port swing and the curtain of the Gulf Theater both fall on the first act of Hired Wife. In just a few moments, the curtain will rise again on the second act. Meanwhile, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to say a few words about one of your neighbors. A man owning and operating his own business right in your community. He's the fellow with the orange disc on his cap, and in front of whose place of business is the big sign of the Gulf Orange Disc. He's your neighborhood good Gulf dealer. A man who is interested in keeping your automobile expense at a minimum and in keeping your car in better condition this summer. To do this, your good Gulf dealer now has his own special spring changeover program that includes a combination of services and products which you need right now to put your car in condition for summer driving. In addition to the fine Gulf products he uses, he is especially trained to service your car just as it should be serviced. And he has special equipment to do it just that way. So when your car needs anything from a tank full of gasoline to a complete seasonal changeover, drive in at the sign of the orange disc and get the finest petroleum products that Gulf refinery technologists can produce. Plus the attention of a specialist who knows his business and who shares your interest in keeping your car in top-notch condition. Now we present the second act of the Gulf Screen Guild Theater production, Hired Wife, adapted by Sam Perrin and Charles Tazwell from George Beck's screenplay and starring Melvin Douglas as Stephen Dexter and Joan Blondell as Kendall Browning, his secretary, who has become Mrs. Dexter and the legal owner of a cement business, his bank account, his house, and other possessions to save them from being attacked. 2 weeks later, Kendall still occupies the bedroom. Stephen still sleeps and dreams of his true love, Phyllis Walden, in the port swing. And Van Horn, their lawyer and chaperone, spends his night on the love seat. We find them a jolly threesome at breakfast.
The coffee's stone cold again. Will you tell me why the orange juice is always hot and the coffee's always cold? Where's the morning paper?
I'm reading it. Oh, my back. Whoever called that torture device a love seat had a hateful nature.
Whoever called that dive bomber on the porch a swing was nuts.
Boys are certainly in the mood this morning. I'll bet you didn't drink your buttermilk last night.
No, we didn't drink our buttermilk last night. Speaking for myself, I don't mean to drink it tonight or tomorrow night either. One thing I can make up my own mind about. One vestige of self-respect I have left. I can't sign anything. I can't do anything. Can't even get my lunch money.
Stephen.
And it's all your fault, Van Horn.
Listen to this. Combine withdraws suits against Dexter Cement Company. What? We've won, Stephen. We've won. The vultures have given up.
Let me see that paper.
Here, right here. Read it yourself.
Oh, Stephen, I'm so glad for you.
I told you we'd lick them, didn't I?
Aren't you happy, Stephen?
Happy isn't the word. Why, this means I'm a free man. It's a reprieve from heaven. Just wait till I break the news to Phyllis.
To Phyllis?
Poor girl. She's been so patient and brave and understanding. Say, Van Horn, how long will it take to get Kendall and me divorced?
Well, 6 weeks in Reno if neither party contests it.
Oh, but this party will contest it plenty.
Kendall, you're not going to fight this.
I most certainly am.
Oh, well, in that case, it'll take years.
Years?
5 at least. Your best bet is to disappear and be given up for dead.
On your life. I'm going to fight this. So, Kendall, you like being Mrs. Stephen Dexter, do you? All right, you can have the house. I'm moving out. You're a grass widow. And from now on, I'm being seen in every club and night spot in town with Phyllis Walden. Maybe you'll be glad to divorce me when the gossip columns start laughing you out of town.
Stephen.
Goodbye.
Ah, that beautiful music. She reminds me of home, Mrs. Dexter, in far off South America.
Never mind putting on an act for me, Jose. Save it till you meet Phyllis. That's what I hired you for.
Do not fear. The Acme escort service has never failed. I am a blitzkrieg with blondes. And when the Phyllis see me, your husband have a blackout.
Here comes the head waiter. Tell him we want Mr. Dexter's table.
See.
Good evening, monsieur. You have the reservation?
Senor Dexter's party.
Are we this way?
Ah, I so love the Swan Club. It's so expensive.
And so is Phyllis, but Stephen will see that you have plenty of spending money.
You mean your husband will pay for my campaign?
Only he won't know it. He never looks at what he's signing when I make out his checks, and since this is for his own good, he may as well pay for it. Here's their table. Hello, Stephen.
Hello, General.
Hello, Phyllis, darling. I'm so sorry we're late.
What is this?
Now, don't be cross, dear. We got held up in traffic. Phyllis, may I present Senor Don Jose de Braganza? How do you do?
Oh, how do you do?
And this is Stephen, my husband.
In South America, we have nothing so beautiful as you, senorita.
Oh.
Pardon me. She says I'm Stephen.
Yeah. Oh. How do you do?
Have you ordered yet, Poppy?
No, Poppy has not ordered yet. What are you trying to do now? Who is that grasshopper with you?
Biggest dam and bridge man in South America.
You can't get away with this.
Well, Phyllis, we better be going if we want to make that show.
You mean you eat Zimmerman's cream cheese just because my picture's on it?
Oh, it's 4, no 6 cases, beautiful one.
Oh.
Phyllis.
What? Oh, yes, Stephen.
If we don't go, we'll miss the show.
Oh, well, we can see it some other night, can't we?
Certainly you can. Oh, tell us, Jose, have you bought any polo ponies lately?
Polo pony? Oh, polo pony.
Yeah, I read
Polo
you
pony.
had some sent up from Brazil.
Just a few strings.
Oh, I'd love to see them. May I, Jose?
Alas, I had them sent back to my 400,000-acre fazenda.
Would you like to dance, Phyllis?
Well...
Oh, I'm so sorry. I have already asked Phyllis for this dance, Senor Dexter. You don't mind.
No, not at all. Have a good time.
Come, beautiful one. I will show you the real way to dance the conga, like we do from South America.
Stephen, don't look so disturbed. It's all in fun.
Fun. If he squeezes her hand once more, I'm going to slip him a double Mickey Finn. He's a lounge lizard, a parlor snake. You just remember this, Kendall. I'm wise to you, and I don't want any of your tricks.
Well, Jose, how are we doing?
Wonderful, Senora Dexter. Here are my expense bills for the month of May.
Let's see. Apartment at the Ritz, rent of automobile, luncheons at Pierre's, ring, Jose?
Ring on the telephone. 500 of them.
Oh.
But do not lose hope. I think I'm disturbing her a little.
June was an expensive month, Jose. Theater tickets, hockey tickets, breakfast for two. breakfast, Jose?
We only rode horses in the park one morning. But don't worry, I am now disturbing her a lot. Hello, Kendall. I've been looking
Oh, go away, Jose. It's all over.
What?
He's lost. He came in an hour ago and said since I won't divorce him, he'll ask for an annulment. And then he sent for Phyllis.
Phyllis loves me. She will not come
She's
here.
in the other room with him right now, and he's asking her to marry him.
What? I will kill him. I will kill them both 2 times twice. Come, you shall watch the slaughtering. Phyllis, I am here. You're Jose.
Jose?
Get out of here.
You cannot win my Phyllis, Senor Dexter. Never. She loves me madly.
Since when?
Since always. Since time began, the world was damp. And I was a bullfrog and she was a cow frog.
Isn't that beautiful,
Phyllis,
Stephen?
you owe it to yourself to find out more about this man. Where did your money come from, Senor
I
Braganza?
told you once, Stephen.
I'm asking him.
It comes from the cement business.
Huh?
Oh, Stephen. Oh, pardon me.
What do you want, Van Horn?
Well, I was just going over these bills, Stephen, and there's quite a flock of checks here I don't understand. They're made out to a party named Jose de Braganza. Is that your new tailor?
Did you say Jose de Braganza? Let me see those checks.
Jose, I guess we'd better run along.
Yes, you'll excuse us.
Stay where you are, you two. Well, this is the greatest bunco game of all time.
Jose, what do those checks mean?
Phyllis, darling, it looks bad, but it couldn't be worse.
Oh, Jose, how could you?
Kendall, I knew you were a liar, but I didn't know you were a crook.
Senor Dexter, I challenge you to a duel. I cannot take such an insult to your wife.
Oh, you can't you? You cut-rate Casanova. Well, take this.
Oh!
Look, could I hold somebody's coat?
Get some water, Mr. Van Horn. Oh, Jose, darling, are you hurt?
I will kill him to pieces.
I don't know why you should fight over Kendall. She's not worth fighting over.
Oh, I'm not, am I? Why, you...
Oh.
Kendall, you leave Phyllis alone.
Oh, my poor little Phyllis. Here. Here, I will kiss this slap.
You do, and I'll slap the kisser.
Leave me alone, Jose. I hate you.
There, Phyllis, darling, don't you cry. Everything's going to be all right
Oh,
now.
come on, Jose. Let's get out of here.
Yes, and the sooner the better.
Farewell, my lovely Phyllis.
Goodbye, Stephen. You can't blame a girl for trying. You can have your divorce. I'm off to Reno. Come on, Van Horn. You can fix the papers.
What a life. Oh, my nerves.
Well, that's that. Finished with those two.
And good riddance.
6 years I put up with Kendall Brown. Bossed me and bullied me around, and I let her do it. What a fool I was.
So was I, Stephen. I should have known Jose was a phony. Honest men don't make love that well. They haven't had the practice.
6 years, and at least once a day, Kendall did something frightful to me.
I knew men could be low, but not as low as Jose.
Truth, honor, decency mean nothing to her.
I'd like to strangle Jose this minute.
I consider today the luckiest day of my life. You should too, Phyllis.
Stephen,
What?
when are we going to stop kidding ourselves?
What do you mean?
We love him.
Oh, I'm glad you said it first. Goodbye, Phyllis. Good luck.
Where are you going?
I'm going to try to catch Kendall before she gets to Reno.
So this is Reno, eh?
Van Horn, will you stop admiring the scenery and help me find Kendall? We were stupid enough to let her get out of town. Now we've got to locate her before she gets a divorce.
Proceed with the defense. Therefore, Your Honor, I'd like you to hear what this sweet, defenseless little woman has to say.
He's the biggest rat I ever married.
I beg your pardon, Judge, but I'm looking for Mrs. Kendall Dexter. Did you divorce her?
No, I didn't, son.
Order in the court.
Pardon me, Judge, but did a Mrs. Dexter, Kendall Dexter, apply for a divorce here?
Not in this court.
This is the last courthouse in Reno.
Well, let's go in. I beg your pardon, Judge.
Yes, what is it?
Did a Mrs. Kendall Dexter apply for a divorce here?
No, she didn't, but I'll be glad to send her an application blank.
What a trip. I'm glad to be back in New York. Too bad we didn't find her, though.
I can't understand it. We went to every courthouse in Reno.
Mm-hmm. She could have gone to Las Vegas or some city in the state of Idaho.
Well, wherever she went, we've lost her. I'll never find her, Van Horn.
I'm sorry, old man. You did your best. Now, you must try and get yourself some sleep.
Well, don't leave me now, Van Horn. I feel terrible. Stay here tonight. I've got an extra bed.
Well, I'd like to, Steve, but I got some things to attend to.
Oh.
I'm sorry, Stephen. Well, good night.
Good night, Van Horn.
Where have you been, Stephen?
What?
For heaven's sake, put out that light and let's get some sleep.
Kendall! Oh, Kendall!
Listen to that applause from the audience here in the Gulf Screen Guild Theater. I'm sure we all agree that Joan Blondell and Melvin Douglas well deserve it for their excellent performances in Hired Wife. And now, friends, we've come to the end of another season here in the Gulf Screen Guild Theater. A happy one for all of us, I assure you. And on this occasion, we're honored by a visit from one of the best-loved people in all America. She's here beside me now, Hollywood's favorite lady, Mary Pickford.
Thank you, Roger. And thank you, my friends. I'm here tonight on a very important mission. I come not as Mary Pickford, but as a representative of the entire motion picture industry. Tonight, you know, marks the end of our third season of Gulf Screen Guild Theater broadcasts. 3 seasons of accomplishment. During the past 3 years, Gulf has contributed generously to the Motion Picture Relief Fund, making possible the building of a home to provide for the aged and needy of our industry. During this period also, Gulf has helped raise the standard of radio dramatic entertainment by the intelligent presentation of motion picture stars in carefully written, skillfully directed stories, enabling the stars to bring to the great radio audience the values of personality and performance that made them famous on the screen. For these reasons, the motion picture industry awards this silver plaque to the Gulf Oil Companies. I'd like to read the plaque's inscription to you. It says, awarded to the Gulf Oil Companies for eminent achievement in furthering the advancement of the allied arts of motion pictures and radio through the medium of the Gulf Screen Guild Theater. The plaque is signed by Edward Arnold, President of the Screen Actors Guild, Sheridan Gibney, President of the Screenwriters Guild, Frank Capra, President of the Screen Directors Guild, and Y.F. Freeman, President of the Association of Motion Picture Producers. May this always be a symbol of the high regard in which the motion picture industry holds the Gulf Screen Guild Theater.
On behalf of Colonel Drake, President of the Gulf Oil Companies, thank you. And thank you again for myself and all of us who have worked together here in the Gulf Screen Guild Theater. And now, folks, since this is the last program of the Gulf Screen Guild Theater for this season, I want to thank all of you for your loyalty to the program and to Gulf. And I want to tell you something else, too. This summer, the Gulf Company has a special treat for you, a new Gulf show. A show that's particularly appropriate for Sunday night, when there aren't any newspapers handy, and when you want to know what's going on in the world right then. Yes, it's a news program. But what a news program. It's World News Tonight. A half hour of news direct from the world's capitals, where news is being made. It's broadcast by top-notch reporters and interpreted by leading commentators. And it will be on as a service to you every Sunday night. So starting next Sunday night, tune in on Gulf's new summertime show, World News Tonight. Until then, this is Roger Pryor speaking for your neighborhood good golf dealer and saying thank you and good night, everyone.
Music for the Gulf Screen Guild Theater has been under the supervision of Oscar Bradley. Beginning next Sunday, for those of you who do not have daylight saving time, the Gulf Summer program, World News Tonight, will be brought to you 1 hour earlier. Bud Easton speaking. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Screen Guild Theater. Your host, the director of the Star's own theater, Roger Pryor.
Good evening, everyone. Your neighborhood good Gulf dealer and the Gulf Oil Companies welcome you once again to the Gulf Screen Guild Theater. And now I want to...
Hey, Roger! Oscar Bradley, fellas! Here she comes!
Who?
That's Strawberry Blonde! I love my wife, but oh, you kid!
Going my way, sister?
What is your way?
Any way she's going. Yes, sir, she's here, folks. That Strawberry Blonde, starring James Cagney, Olivia de Havilland, and Jack Carson. Our stars will be on stage in just a moment, and while we're waiting for them, we'd like to say a word about a relative of yours. He's your uncle. He's my uncle, too.
And mine, Roger. He's our Uncle Sam. You know, our Uncle Sam is the most important customer car manufacturers are working for today. And since that's so, there won't be so many new cars available. And you may have to keep your present car for another year or longer. So make sure your car gets the best possible care. And remember, the better lubrication it gets, the longer it will stay acting and feeling young. So give your car the newest and most scientific lubrication, Gulflex Registered Lubrication. Gulflex Registered Lubrication was developed by experts to give you top-notch protection at no extra cost. The Gulflex man uses not just 1 or 2 greases, but 6 specially developed Gulf lubricants. When Gulf Laboratory research men tested one of these, Gulflex chassis lubricant, they found that it stays in the shackle 30% better and lubricates almost 100% longer than the average of competitive products tested. Yet this is only one reason it will pay you to insist on Gulflex Registered Lubrication. And at the same time, let the Gulf man protect the engine of your car with Gulf Lube Motor Oil, the finest regular-priced motor oil he's ever sold. For a real money-saving and car-saving team, get both Gulf Lube Motor Oil and Gulflex Registered Lubrication.
And here come the stars onto the stage. In tonight's play, you'll hear Olivia de Havilland as Amy, James Cagney as Biff Grimes, and Jack Carson as Hugo Barnstead. And now, Oscar Bradley's music raises the curtain on Strawberry Blonde. Lovely, tranquil Sunday afternoon in 1900. Children are playing in the streets. Young couples are blissfully strolling hand in hand. Brooklyn hasn't even heard of baseball. Everything is calm, peaceful, and serene. And in his dental office around the corner, Biff Grimes is murdering his old friend Hugo Barnstead.
How does it feel to die, Hugo? How does it feel to know you'll never get out of my dentist chair? Just think, all these years I've been thinking of going after you with a gun. And today you walk right into my house with a toothache. You didn't know I was a dentist, did you, Hugo? Now I've got you where I wanted you for years. No use in struggling, Hugo. Your arms are strapped to the chair. Your mask is over your face. The gas is turned on. Breathe deep, Hugo. What? Yes, Amy, what do you want?
Can I come in?
No, I've got a patient in the chair.
Will you be long?
No, this won't take hardly any time at all.
Well, let me know when you're ready to go for our Sunday afternoon walk.
Yes, sure, Amy. I'll let you know. No, this won't take much time. Our account's a big one, but you're going to pay it in full. Remember when it started piling up? It all began that night long ago, when you took me along on a double date with you. You remember that, Hugo? I do. I've never forgotten any part of it. Boy, what a night. Well, it sure is swell of you to take me on this date, Hugo.
I'll think nothing of it, Biff. Aren't you my best friend?
You never let me forget it. Say, who smells so gorgeous? You or the horse?
Me. It's a little something called Canal number 5.
Smells prettier than the canal.
It's French, and in France, canal isn't a canal.
Oh. Say, who are the girls?
Well, one of them's Virginia.
Whoa, whoa! What did you say?
Virginia Brush, the strawberry blonde. And I'm Hugo Barnstead, the chicken inspector.
You mean without ever being introduced, she made a date with you?
Of course not. Virginia's a nice girl.
You know it.
But?
But what? Go on.
Well, I just happened to pass her on the street today, and she happened to drop her handkerchief, and when I picked it up, she just happened to mention she might be in the park tonight with her girlfriend, Biff.
Oh, well, that's a nice girl to do that, I guess. Sure. Shut up and get moving, Beetle Nose. Come on, get up. I suppose you get Virginia and I draw the girlfriend?
Well, naturally, Biff. Didn't I bring the horse?
I bet she's a squab.
What's a squab?
Well, it ain't no chicken.
Oh, I think you'll be surprised. Well, I bet she's pretty swell. Look here, Biff, just to show you my heart's in the right place, if she turns out to be a squab, I'll let you have Virginia.
No kidding? Well, that's different. Come on, hey, Bernie, let's get going. Biff Grimes got a date.
Hello, Virginia. Am I late? Amy, what kept you? I've been expecting the boys any minute. Well, what's the matter? Is something wrong with me? Didn't you have time to get out of that nurse's uniform? I had plenty of time. But why should I? I'm proud of my uniform. It's a sign to men that women please, Amy. Just a night, try to be a woman, not a pamphlet. Why, women throughout the ages... Oh, it is a lovely night. That's the first sensible thing you've said since... Amy, look, that carriage up the street. They're coming. When a woman says they in that tone, it must mean men. Don't look at them. Hey, the red-headed one is good-looking in a weather-beaten sort of way. He's yours. But I warn you, Hugo says he'll never amount to anything. Why not? He's a dentist and an idealist. Oh. Hugo's going to have his own construction company soon. He's very smart. Now, don't say a word to them when they pass. Of course, if they say something, we'll say something. And if they don't say anything, we won't say anything? Of course not. That will show them we're good girls and not to be trifled with. Well, then what are we here for if not to be trifled with? Oh, Amy. Shh. Now, let's pretend we don't see them.
Whoa! Whoa, boy. Whoa. Excuse me, aren't you the young lady whose handkerchief I returned this afternoon?
Why, yes. I believe I am.
Well, then I believe the circumstances permit me introducing myself. My name is...
Hugo Barnstead, and your friend is Biff Grimes. Amy. Her name's Virginia Brush, and I'm Amy Lind. And I like Biff.
Hugo, did you hear that?
Oh, for Pete's sake, everybody, let's cut out the nonsense. This is a prearranged date, and we all know it. I have to be back on duty by 11, so let's check a Tootsie. Virginia, you ride in front with Hugo, and I'll ride in back with Biff.
Well, that's splendid. Allow me to help you in, Miss Brush.
Well, Biff?
Get in, free thinker.
Don't you love the country at night, Biff? There's something about the country air.
I like city air. Oh, I wonder what Virginia and Hugo are doing over there.
Who cares? You're not a very easy person to get to know, Mr. Grimes.
Well, that's the kind of a hairpin I am.
My mother was one of the original Bloomer girls.
What'd she play, second base?
I mean, she was a suffragette.
They had bats in their belfry.
They did not.
All right. Nobody's blaming you for your mother.
I'm not apologizing for my mother.
Oh, listen, do I know your mother? Why get into an argument about her? Excuse me. I think I'll have a smoke.
May I have one, too?
Yeah, sure. Hey, don't tell me you smoke cigarettes.
Only when I'm bored.
Your mother a Bloomer girl? You a nicotine fiend? Are there any more at home like you?
I have an aunt who's an actress.
Well, that completes the picture. Why, I bet you let a boy kiss you, even if you weren't engaged.
She was charming and nice looking, I certainly was.
You mean?
Exactly.
Look, wouldn't you like someday for a nice fellow to marry you?
Not particularly.
You don't believe in the institution of marriage?
An outmoded, silly convention.
Don't you want a home and kids?
Well, certainly I do, but that doesn't mean that I have to.
You don't mean...
Strictly.
Well, of all that... Oh, you go! You go!
Oh, what's the matter, Biff?
We gotta get out of here, quick.
Well, why should we?
She's been free-thinking again.
Why, Biff, she's perfectly harmless.
Then you take her home. I'm going home with Virginia. I'm certainly glad at last I got to take you home, Virginia. You know, we ought to get together more often.
I'd love to, Biff, but I'm pretty busy. Look, let's say 3 weeks from Wednesday in the park. I think I'll be free then.
Oh, gee, thanks. That'll be great. Well,
Good night, Biff.
Can I, before you go in, would you, that is, could I kiss you?
Why, Biff, we hardly know each other.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Why, I might lose my respect for you. I'd probably hate myself.
Of course you would.
Oh, gosh, thanks, Virginia, for saving us. I guess there's a little of a beast in every man. Well, Mother pin a rose on me. I'll be seeing you 3 weeks from Wednesday.
Beautiful night.
Look, I've got a date with Virginia. I've been waiting 3 weeks for this night. Now, eat it.
Well, maybe I've got a date, too.
Must be a good one. You're all dressed up like Mrs. Astor's horse. Where are the bloomers?
Well, if you're really...
Never mind!
Mind if I sit down? I promise I'll go whenever you want me to.
Well, that will be when I hear Virginia coming.
Oh. All right, Biff. Do you love Virginia?
Hey, what business is it of yours?
I guess you do, otherwise you wouldn't be angry.
Oh, sure I do. Oh, she's somehow my ideal.
I see. Biff, I saw Virginia this afternoon.
Yeah?
And she asked me to tell you that she couldn't meet you here tonight.
You're crazy.
She won't be here, Biff.
Why not?
Because at 4 o'clock this afternoon, she married Hugo Bonstead.
Married Hugo?
I was a witness at the wedding.
I don't believe it.
It's true, Biff. They left for Niagara Falls right after the ceremony.
But she wouldn't. She couldn't.
She did. I'm sorry, Biff.
Oh, I don't want your sympathy. Why, girls are like horse cars. There's one coming along every minute.
Sure they are, Biff.
I'd like to show her. Wish you weren't such a free thinker. I'd ask you to be my steady.
You would? Oh. Well, I'm really not very much of a free thinker, Biff.
But your mother was an original bloomer girl.
No, she wasn't. Father wouldn't let her.
Oh. Well, what about the aunt who was an actress?
Well, she was only an actress in a church play.
I'll bet you're a fake all around. I bet you never even smoked a cigarette.
I put them in my mouth sometimes, but I never lit them. Oh, Biff, I was such a fool.
Oh, no. Please, don't cry. Everything's all right. You can be my steady.
Biff, you really mean it?
Sure.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Well, then it's understood, huh? We've got an understanding?
Yes, Biff.
But remember this, though. No more of this smoking business, lit or no lit. All that bloomer and free everything business, none of that either.
All right, Biff. Would you like to kiss me?
Oh, all right.
Oh.
I just hope Hugo stands too near the falls, gets his feet wet, and catches a good cold. That's what I hope.
falls on Act 1 of tonight's play. During the short intermission, before we bring you the rest of tonight's story, we'd like to tell you about an unusual name that figured in the news back in the gaslit era of the Strawberry Blonde.
Well, folks, that name is Spindletop. And although many of you may not recognize the name Spindletop, it's a name that means something to every American. For it was on a low hill south of Beaumont, Texas, a hill called Spindletop, that the first big oil well in Texas was brought in 40 years ago. That discovery was a great step ahead for the petroleum industry and for America. It contributed much to the revolutionizing of industry and transportation, as well as helping to make life richer and more enjoyable for all of us. This week, there's going to be a big 3-day celebration in Beaumont, at which a monument will be dedicated to the men who discovered that oil well. And, folks, it's interesting to know that the Gulf Oil Companies trace their origin to this first big oil well, the Lucas Gusher, brought in by the Guffey Petroleum Company, the forerunner of the Gulf Oil Company. Now, since those early days, Gulf has been a leader in developing the finest petroleum products that are constantly improved to give you better value. For instance, this year for you motorists, there's the 1941 Gulf No-Nox gasoline. And this year and every year, there are the special services that you get from your good Gulf dealer that help your car last longer. So for Gulf quality products and for friendly, helpful service, stop at your neighborhood good Gulf dealers.
And now the curtain of the Gulf Screen Guild Theater rises on the second act of Strawberry Blonde, adapted for radio by Bill Hampton, and starring Olivia de Havilland as Amy Lind, James Cagney as Biff Grimes, and Jack Carden as Hugo Barnstead.
Can you still hear me, Hugo? I don't want you to die until after I've added up the whole debt you've been owing me all these years. All these years, Hugo. The ache you had in your tooth that brought you into my office today isn't half the ache I had inside me when you stole Virginia. I never got over it, Hugo, even though I married Amy. Breathe deep, Hugo. I've got a whole tank full of gas for you. And meanwhile, let's go on to the next item in our account. That one's in the book when you and Virginia came back from your honeymoon. Remember? You handed me a lot of soft soap, took me into your company, and I swallowed the bait, hook, line, and sinker. That very night, me and Amy were sitting in our little place, just talking.
You know what day it is?
Mm-hmm, Friday.
Yes, but it's also our anniversary. A year and a half ago, we were married.
Biff Grimes is too busy to bother with fractions. Just think of it. Yesterday I was just a nobody. Today, I'm the executive vice president of the Hugo Barnstead Construction Company.
I guess Hugo knows you're the man for the job.
Certainly. I didn't go after it, did I? Well, Hugo looked me up.
Well, he always said he was your best friend.
Yeah. But you know, I was all for taking a punch at him when he came looking for me. Then he explained how he felt, sorry and everything, and ended up by asking me to be a vice president.
Has he got a desk at the office?
I've got a private office and a secretary.
Is she pretty?
Beautiful.
Oh.
But she hasn't got your personality.
Did Hugo put you right to work today?
Sure, but isn't what I'd call work. All I did was sign a lot of papers.
What kind of papers, then?
I don't know, but they must have been important because Hugo rushed them right out. Oh, well. Guess it's about time to turn in, huh?
I've got to have your white shirt first. I want your beautiful secretary to see you're not being neglected at home. Won't take long.
Yeah, just a minute. Yeah?
Are you Bill Grimes?
That's right.
I got a warrant for your arrest.
Hey, what is this, a joke?
No, you'll have to come with me.
What for? What have I done?
You're vice president of the Barnstead Company, aren't you?
Yes, sure, but...
That was a Barnstead building that collapsed yesterday.
So?
A man was killed.
I didn't kill him.
You signed the orders for the faulty material that caused the building to collapse.
Well, how could I? I just started working today. It's a frame-up.
Well, maybe you can explain that to the district attorney. Come along, Grimes.
Biff, now that you're vice president, don't you think you're...
Oh, it's all right, Amy. This is Charlie Brown.
How do you do? Is there anything the matter?
Oh, no, nothing at all. You see, the police department is holding... That is, they're giving a clam bake down at Coney Island Wednesday, or was it Thursday? And so they asked me to be on the committee.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, isn't it? Awfully nice. I've got to get down there now and arrange things. I'll be back in a little while.
All right, Biff.
Wait for me.
I'll wait.
All right, Charlie. Let's go.
Bill!
out of me again, Hugo. You made me a vice president just so I could sign those papers and keep you out of jail. I got the rap that was coming to you. 4 long years, Hugo. I kept reading about you in the papers. The day you were made alderman of the 4th Ward, I was made trustee in cell block 6. The day I got out, though, there was only one person I wanted to see. That was Amy. I had a hunch where she'd be waiting. The gas lamps were lighted and shone on her face as I came up the path. Hello, Amy.
Yes.
Yep, it's me. Something told me you'd be here in the park. I don't know, just something. Nice. Spring.
Yes. Spring.
You glad to see me?
You know I am, Biff.
Same here. You all right?
Yes. Fine.
Oh, I would have been all shot to pieces if I hadn't gotten your letters. The thought of you waiting. I just somehow.
I know, Biff.
Yeah, sure you do. You always know. Quiet, isn't it?
Yes.
No, we'll have to move to a new neighborhood.
All right, Biff.
All right with you?
Wherever you go, Biff, I'll go.
Amy, I think you're the finest lady in the whole world.
Just that I love you.
Well, then, everything's all right.
Everything's all right.
Mm-hmm. Come on, honey. Let's walk home. So that brings our account book up to date, Hugo. Not counting the tough years since then. A jailbird has a hard time making a new start. Now you know how glad I was when you walked in here today with your tooth. Now you know why I strapped you in my dentist chair and started feeding you gas. I'm going to kill you, Hugo. I'm going to make you pay for all those years in jail. But most of all, for stealing Virginia, the girl I loved. I waited a long time for this, Hugo. And now I'm going to settle our account.
Biff,
Huh? Oh, yes, Amy?
answer the door.
I can't, Amy.
You heard what I said.
Oh, all right. I'll be right back, Hugo. Finish it. I'm coming.
Hello, Biff.
Oh, Virginia.
Yeah, Virginia. Well, aren't you going to invite me in?
Yeah. Come in.
Quit staring, will you? You act as though you were seeing a ghost.
I think I am.
Well, you're not. I may not look so good. I'm not a strawberry blonde anymore, but I'm no ghost. I'm real live flesh and blood. That's why I sent Hugo here, Biff.
You knew that I was the dentist he was going to see?
Sure. I have to have some excitement. I don't look so good, do I, Biff?
Well, you look excited and tired.
Yeah. Tired of the wreck of the Hesperus I married. Still married to Amy, Biff?
Yep. She stuck to me.
Well, Hugo could always take me away from you, and I could always take you away from Amy. I'd like to see you, Biff. What about tomorrow night?
I've got a date with Amy.
Day after tomorrow?
Still, Amy.
Oh. Changed my mind too late, huh, Biff? Well, there's more fish in the ocean, dearie. Have you finished fixing the big baby's tooth?
Not yet, but it won't take a minute now.
You know, you could give him a little too much gas.
What?
I don't suppose it even occurred to you. You always were an idealist, Biff.
Yeah, well, we'll wait right here. I'll finish with Hugo.
Hey. Where you been, Biff? I had a funny dream as if I were dying. I guess I fell asleep. Oh, why don't you take care of this tooth?
I'm going to. Which tooth did you say it was?
There. That one.
Open your mouth just a little wider, please.
What are you going to... Oh! Hey! Hey, what's the idea? Oh!
You wanted a tooth pulled?
Yeah, but I wanted gas, too. Oh, man. How much do I owe you?
You don't owe me a thing.
I don't understand.
All our lives, I was the dope. You were the wise guy. You got everything. I got nothing.
What are you driving at?
Remember what we learned in Sunday school? Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord.
I still don't understand.
I might have been the one married to Virginia. Go on, Hugo. Virginia is waiting for you in the other room.
I'm right here. I heard what you said, Biff. I got it.
Well, I didn't.
When we get home, I'll explain it to you, with blocks.
When are you going to stop heckling me?
When you stop breathing. Come on. Well, I'm all dressed, Biff. Are you ready to go walking?
Yeah, I'd love to go walking.
Here's your hat.
Come on. Amy,
What's the matter, Biff?
do you realize how lucky I am to be married to you?
Oh, are you feeling all right, Biff?
Yeah, I feel wonderful. And I haven't been drinking either. Amy, I just realized I haven't told you this often enough. I love you, Amy. I think you are the loveliest lady in the whole world. I love your hair, your eyes, your mouth.
I love you too, Biff. And Biff,
Yeah?
I've got something to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
You remember the first date we ever had?
Oh, yeah. I thought you were a free thinker and I wanted to be with Virginia.
And then you asked me if I didn't want to have some nice fellow marry me.
And you said you didn't believe in marriage?
And you were shocked and asked me if I didn't want a home and babies.
And you said certainly, but that doesn't mean...
Now it's all coming true.
Yeah?
I married the nicest fellow in the world.
Of course.
Why, you conceited. And we have a home.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're going to have...
What? You mean...
Exactly.
Oh, Hugo! Hugo! Oh, Hugo.
Thank you, Jimmy Cagney, Olivia de Havilland, and Jack Carson. You were great. I think our audience ought to know that you, like all the stars who appear here in the Gulf Screen Guild Theater, donated your performances. The money you would ordinarily receive, Gulf has given instead to the Motion Picture Relief Fund to meet its needs and help build a home for those members of the film industry who can no longer provide for themselves. That home is now being built, thanks to the Gulf Theater stars and thanks to Gulf. Next week, we've got a Gulf Theater Extra Special. A perfect combination of a star and a story that will blend to make one of the finest shows we've ever presented in the Gulf Screen Guild Theater. The story, Booth Tarkington's American classic of an adolescent girl's struggle with life's greatest problem, Alice Adams. And starring in that story as Alice Adams will be the greatest singing star of the screen in the most dramatic performance of her career, Deanna Durbin. And with her will be that popular young star, Alan Marshall, in the beautiful story of Alice Adams. Until then, this is Roger Pryor speaking for your neighborhood good Gulf dealer and saying, good night, everyone.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Gulf Oil Companies want to remind you that almost 600 cities in the United States and Canada are raising funds to maintain their hospitals, visiting nurses, child and family welfare, and other humanitarian services. So do your part. Contribute generously. Help your community mobilize for human needs. Bud Heaton speaking. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Deanna Durbin, Alan Marshall, Lucille Gleason.
The Gulf Screen Guild Theater. Your host, the director of the Star's own theater, Roger Pryor.
Good evening, everyone.
Your neighborhood good Gulf dealer and the Gulf Oil Companies welcome you once again to the Gulf Screen Guild Theater. Tonight, we play host to a young lady of fiction who is beloved by most of the readers of America, Alice Adams, the heroine of the famous novel by Booth Tarkington. Starring on our program tonight as Alice will be one of the best-loved real girls in America today, Deanna Durbin. And the role of Alice will be the first all-dramatic part of her career. Starring with Deanna will be the popular Alan Marshall and another favorite of yours, Lucille Gleason. Our stars will be on stage in just a moment, and during those few seconds, Bud, suppose you tell the folks what you were telling me at rehearsal.
Glad to, Roger. Folks, during the summer, you've probably washed your automobile a number of times, removed the dirt and the dust from the outside of your car. But have you been thoughtful about the inside, about your engine and chassis? Right now, for instance, your motor oil may be so diluted, so dirty, and full of grit that it actually is harmful to bearings and other moving parts. So change your motor oil soon, and make it a change to Gulf Lube. You see, Gulf Lube, the finest regular-priced motor oil Gulf has ever sold, is refined by the exclusive Multisol process. As a result, it gives you high mileage, low consumption. In addition, Gulf Lube resists sludging, helps prevent hard carbon deposits. And when you change to Gulf Lube motor oil, safeguard your chassis and the body of your car with Gulflex registered lubrication, a lubrication service that uses not just one grease, but 6 scientifically developed lubricants to protect the vital points of your car. Protect your car 2 ways at once with Gulflex registered lubrication and Gulf Lube motor oil.
That burst of applause, ladies and gentlemen, is for our stars who have just appeared on stage. And now, Oscar Bradley's music opens the story of Alice Adams. You'll hear Deanna Durbin as Alice, Alan Marshall as Arthur Russell, and Lucille Gleason as Mrs. Adams. Alice Adams, a book about those golden years between fairy tales and grown-up parties, of those bitter, sweet years of adolescence that we leave forever behind at the decrepit age of 21. 21. How many years has it been since I... Well, never mind about that. Let's open our book to Chapter 1, Page 1. There. It's 1941, an evening in May. Our story opens with...
No, Freddie, I couldn't possibly let you have another dance. Why, my program's been filled for just ages and ages. No, Tom. Do be a dear and pay a little attention to Mildred Palmer. After all, this is her party. Oh, you naughty, naughty boys. Why don't you dance with the other girls? Yes, the orchestra is simply divine, Harry, but there are dozens of perfectly lovely girls here who are simply dying to... Oh, darn that phonograph record.
Alice?
Yes, Mother?
Are you most ready to leave for the party, dear? Your brother's waiting up. Oh, you look lovely, Alice. You'll be the belle of the party tonight.
Did you know this was my old organdy?
Of course not. Not with those new flouncers.
I just hope no one recognizes it.
Oh, if you just had some flowers.
Oh, I have. Look, violet.
Alice, you mean some young man sent you a corsage?
No, I picked them in the park this afternoon when the gardener wasn't looking.
Oh.
But they look very expensive, don't you think?
They're beautiful, darling. But it isn't right. It isn't fair. If your father just had a little gumption...
Well, talking about to me again? What's wrong now, Mother?
Dad, I was just coming in to say good night to you.
Well, say, you look mighty fine, Alice. Mighty fine. Who's your beau?
You are, of course.
Oh, sure. But I mean your second best. The one who's taking you to the party tonight.
Her brother Walter is taking her. In a broken-down, borrowed flivver. And it's a shame, that's what it is.
Now, Mother.
Well, it is a shame, Alice.
Oh, I've got to get my cape. That's Walter Fountain.
Any other father with a daughter as pretty as Alice would try to get ahead. Instead of depending on her brother, she could have any boy in town if only he had some money to buy decent clothes
Now,
for
if
her.
you're hinting again that I hand in my resignation to Mr. Lamb, I
What
just
social
want to...
standing will Alice have as long as she's the daughter of an underpaid clerk?
I knew it. You're going to start harping again on me opening that glue factory.
And what is wrong with a glue factory, I would like to know?
Nothing's wrong with a glue factory except that it takes money.
Well,
I'm
I
off.
thank
Goodbye,
you
darling.
not to
Don't wait
shout.
up for me.
Mother,
Dad, please.
Shouting.
Yes, Walter, coming. I'll be right there. Oh, I hope I look nice enough.
You look beautiful.
Have a good time, Alice.
I mean to. Oh, I mean to. I'm coming, Walter. Now, please, Walter, you mustn't forget to ask Ella Dowling for a dance, and Henrietta Lamb and Mildred, too.
Hey, look, I'm as liable to dance with those sticks as I am to buy a bucket of rusty tacks and eat them. Just as soon as this number's over, I'm going back to the coat room and smoke myself to death.
Oh, no, Walter, you mustn't leave me alone. There must be some girl you wouldn't mind too much. How about Mildred Palmer?
Nah, she's too bony. She dances like she was doing herself a favor.
But she's always admired you. Really, she has, Walter. Why, just the other
Now,
day...
don't give me that. You just want to palm me off on her so you can dance with that new man she's got.
Why, Walter, I never thought any such thing.
You might as well forget about him. I'd heard them talking about it in the coat room. He and Mildred are practically engaged.
What's his name?
Arthur Russell. He's a second or third cousin or something. He has wads of dough.
Quiet, Walter. They're going to dance right by us.
Well, I ain't thrilled.
Why, you naughty old Walter.
Huh?
Aren't you ashamed to be such a wonderful dancer and then only dance with little me?
What's the idea?
Why, you could go on the stage if you wanted to.
Hey.
Wouldn't it be wonderful to have people clapping their hands and shouting, hurrah!
Hey, calm down.
Hurrah for Walter Adams! Hurrah!
If you yell any louder, the place will be pinched. Come on, relax. They've gone by and they didn't even give you a tumble. Thank God that's over.
Look, you crushed my violets and they're all wilted.
Oh, here, I'll ditch them back to this chair. Hey, listen, I gotta get some air. You tag some bird to take you on for this next number, will you? I'll be back here.
No, Walter, you can't leave me here alone. Walter, please.
Oh, Walter.
Goodness, them boys sure must be rushing you tonight, Miss Adams. This is the fourth time you've been in here to fix your hair and powder your nose.
Oh, yes, I've just danced myself out of breath. Poor boys, I don't want to hurt their feelings and say no.
Oh, then I guess you don't belong to this dance program I found on the floor. There ain't a single gentleman's name on it.
Oh, dear, no. It must belong to some poor wallflower. Poor thing, I must try to get some of my beaux to dance with her. Well, goodbye now. Why, good evening, Mrs. Palmer. What a perfectly lovely party.
What? Oh, good evening, Miss Adams. Why aren't you dancing?
Oh, I have been. But it's so warm, I've done a perfectly horrible thing. I'm hiding from my partner. Isn't that scandalous of me?
Pardon me, I think that
You know, I think older women are marvelous. Really, I'd rather talk to women like you than to girls my own age any time.
We'll talk some other time, if you don't mind. My husband is calling.
But, Mrs. Palmer, Oh, yes. Yes, of course.
Pardon me, you're Miss Adams, aren't you?
Why, yes,
Mildred sent me over to dance this next to last dance with you. She said she was afraid you'd lost your partner.
Lost my... Why, no, of course not.
Oh, well, then I'd better...
Well, he has disappeared just for the moment.
Well, perhaps I'd better introduce myself. I'm Arthur Russell.
I know. You're Mildred Palmer's cousin, and, well...
Yeah, go on. I've overheard the coat room gossip, too. I've got wads of money, and Mildred and I are practically engaged. But do you know something? It's all a pack of lies.
Not really.
Well, there's not a shred of truth in it. We're hardly related at all. Our friendship is strictly platonic, and it's my father, not I, who has all the money.
You're terribly honest.
And you're terribly pretty. Of course, that's just my personal opinion, so you can take it for what it's worth.
I like it, Mr. Russell.
Mr. Russell's my father. I'm just Arthur. I'd like to ask you for this dance, but if your partner's coming back...
Oh, no. Well, I think I ought to teach him a lesson, don't you?
I certainly do. May I kidnap you?
You want to?
I do.
Then you may. Arthur.
Thank you. Alice? You know, you dance as though you really like it. In fact, you dance better than any girl I know.
Oh, really? Well, thank you.
Where do you live? One of those show places out on the drive?
Oh, no, it's just a foolish little house out on Maple Street. It's not the good part of town anymore, but, well, Father's so attached to it, we've given up all hope of ever getting him away. That proves that rich men can be sentimental, doesn't it?
I think I'd like him. Is he in business?
Yes, although we've tried to talk him into retiring and turning it over to Walter. He's my brother. But no, Father simply won't hear of it. I suspect he's afraid that sending Walter away to Harvard has made him just a little bit snobbish.
Oh, really?
Well, it's really not fair for me to say that. It's just that Walter's so intelligent and interested in his books that he doesn't even see ordinary people, much less associate with them. He's on a higher plane.
Oh.
How you doing?
Oh, let's go out on the terrace, Arthur. It's very warm, don't you think, for this time of year?
Hey, what's the matter with you? You sore or something? Gee, I didn't mean to be so long, sis, but I got tied up in a crap game with the servants.
Oh, Walter, stop. I forgot to tell you, Arthur, that my brother also has a very peculiar sense of humor. Walter, this is Mr. Russell. Arthur, this is my brother.
Hello.
Oh, how do you do? Well, sis, so you finally...
Oh, do look at the orchestra leader. Isn't he funny? He's waving his arms and making faces just like he was in a minstrel show.
Yeah, he seems to be waving at us.
Oh, he is waving at us. He's a friend of mine. Hiya, Louie.
Hiya, Big John. What you doing here?
Walter.
I had to drag my sister, Louie. She didn't have a date.
Walter, I want to go home.
Go home? You mean home?
Good night, Mr. Russell. So nice to have met you. Lovely dance, lovely evening, lovely... Oh, come on, Walter. Please take me home. Oh, it was awful, Mother. Just simply awful. I'll never be able to face anyone again. Not ever.
Now, Alice, dear. It can't be as bad as that.
Worse, Mother. Walter stood there, right in the middle of the floor, right in front of Arthur Russell. And he yelled to Skinny Louie, the one they call Hot Lips. Oh, I could have died right there. I wish I had died right there.
Oh, Alice, darling. Well, there's no use in carrying on like this. Come on now. Come into bed and get some sleep, and we'll talk about it in the morning, tomorrow.
No, I couldn't go to sleep.
Well, it's late.
Just let me stay out here on the porch for a while.
Well,
Please.
All right, but not long, mind you. If I don't hear you come upstairs in half an hour, I'm coming down for you.
Yes. I'll go away. That's what I'll do. I'll just disappear. They'll never see me again, not one of them.
Hello there. I'm the honest kidnapper. Remember?
Arthur.
Why did you run off from me at the dance? I've had an awful time finding you. You know, a foolish little house out on Maple Street isn't much of an address.
But I don't understand. You aren't angry.
Angry? Why should I be? You know something? As I was walking up here, I had the strangest feeling, as though I were falling in love. Do you suppose it could be you or the moonlight?
Must be the moonlight.
Well, you may be right, but I think we ought to find out, don't you?
You mean you want to see me again?
What about tomorrow? The weatherman has personally assured me it'll be a beautiful day.
Oh, tomorrows are always beautiful.
Always. Good night until tomorrow.
Good night. Good night. Until tomorrow.
So much for Act One of Alice Adams. Our Gulf Theater curtain will rise on Act Two in less than a minute, and you'll hear the second act of tonight's story. Meanwhile, suppose we hear from a young fellow who says...
Friend, next time you're out driving, listen to your motor as you accelerate. If you hear a knocking, pinging sound, that's not only a sign of waste of power and waste of gasoline, but it may also mean unnecessary repair bills in the future. So to help prevent that knock in your motor, get Gulf No-Nox gasoline. You see, Gulf No-Nox has been raised to such a high anti-knock rating that it gives you an entirely new appreciation of gasoline quality. With Gulf No-Nox, you not only get maximum mileage, but also a quieter, smoother-running motor and steady, more trouble-free performance. So to help your car run better, stay in finer condition, and last longer, ask for that extra-value gasoline, Gulf No-Nox. Stop tomorrow at your neighborhood Good Gulf dealers at the same service station where you get Gulflex registered lubrication and Gulf Lube motor oil.
And now the curtain of the Gulf Screen Guild Theater rises on the second act of Alice Adams, adapted for radio by Charles Tazwell and starring Deanna Durbin as Alice, Alan Marshall as Arthur Russell, and Lucille Gleason as Mrs. Adams. A dog-eared page marks our place in the story of Alice Adams. Turning the pages, we learn that Arthur did see Alice on the next day. And the next day. And the next. Well, it appears that they went right on seeing each other all through the summer. But Alice, the foolish girl, forgot the old adage. What a tangled web we weave when first we practice to deceive. Witness, for example, chapter 15.
Father just loves to play at being a financial wizard. You know what he's done, Arthur? Started a chain of factories.
Well, I took my last dollar, Mother, but that old barn is now the home of Adams Glue Works.
Chapter 20.
Father has only a few close friends, but they're all business magnates, Arthur. Why, he and old Mr. Lamb are like brothers.
If I ever get my hands on Fergus Adams, I'll skin him alive. He resigns after 25 years in my payroll and runs off with a glue formula that's half mine.
Chapter 25.
I sometimes wish I'd learned to do things for myself like other girls, Arthur. But we've always had so many servants. I'm utterly helpless.
Well, Fergus, if your glue factory ever gets on its feet, the first thing we're going to have is a new washing machine and a girl to run it.
Chapter 26. Uh-oh. This is the turning point. This is where it happens. This is where Arthur asks the question that Alice has been dreading to hear.
Alice, why have you never asked me to dinner? Why can't I meet your parents?
Well, there's no reason.
Well, anyone would think they were ogres and I was a freak.
Oh, it isn't that. Really, it isn't.
I'll have to meet them sometime, and the sooner the better, I'd say.
Oh, yes, you're right, Arthur, if it can be arranged.
What do you mean?
Well, Mother's frightfully social. The house is always filled with people.
I'm entirely free for the next 2 weeks.
Oh, you are?
With the exception of Thursday night.
Thursday night? Oh, how unfortunate. Mother told me this morning that Thursday's the only evening this week that we'll have open.
Oh, but I meant Thursday of next week. This Thursday will be fine.
Oh.
Then everything's set, hmm?
All right. All right, Arthur. I'll tell Mother you'll have dinner with us on Thursday.
Why don't you slip upstairs and rest for a few minutes?
There isn't time, Mother. It's 6 o'clock already. He'll be here any minute.
Oh, I wish it hadn't turned out so hot.
Oh, so do I. According to the paper, it's the hottest day in 30 years. What about Father? Is he wearing his evening clothes?
Well, he made a lot of objections, but he's getting into them.
There. Those roses sort of brighten things up. What's the name of the girl you hired to serve?
Melina.
Oh, he's come. He's here, Mother.
Melina? Melina?
Yes, ma'am.
The door. Answer the door, Melina.
Oh, yes, ma'am. I'll do that directly. Just do
Good heavens, what's that?
I think she fell down the cellar steps.
Oh, Mother.
Now, don't you worry, dear. If she's dead, we won't say a word about it till after dinner. You run upstairs and fix your hair, and I'll answer the door myself.
Will you sit over there, Arthur?
Thank you.
I do hope you won't hate us too much for making you dine in such warm weather.
It's not warm. It's plain danged hot, Alice.
I'm sweating like a horse.
Father.
Oh, Virgil.
He's always saying the most absurd things, trying to shock strangers. You'd better ring the bell again, Mother.
Yes, dear. What do you think of our little girl, Mr. Russell?
Well, the fellow who marries her will be a lucky man.
Oh, dear, I can't imagine why Melina doesn't come. She's really most inefficient, but she's been with the family so long we just put up with it.
What you want, Miss Adams, the soup?
Yes. Didn't you hear the bell, Melina?
Oh, yes, but I was rubbing some liniment on me.
I do hope you like soup, Arthur.
Oh, yes, I do.
Although it's hardly appropriate for this weather. We should have had something iced or jelly. Be careful, Melina.
Oh, yes, you'd be kind of shaky, too, Miss Alice, if you'd had the fall I had. Here, just look at my knees.
Melina, I'm quite sure Mr. Russell isn't interested.
Hey, what kind of soup is this?
Consommé, Father.
Tastes like plain horse liniment to me. Don't you think so, Mr. Russell?
Well, yes, it does a little.
Here, give me your spoon, let me taste it.
Well,
yeah, that's liniment, all right. You know what must have happened? I must have spilled some in the soup when I was rubbing it on me.
Please take this dreadful soup away, Melina. We'll go on to the entree.
But just hold everything, folks. I'll be back in a flash with the whatever that was she just said.
Do you have some more coffee, Arthur?
No, thank you.
I'll have some more, Alice.
Yes, Father, dear. I'm afraid the dinner was a little too heavy for you, Arthur.
Oh, no, not much. I mean, it wasn't at all.
It's much better when you cook it, Mother. Hey, where in the dickens did you get this Molina?
Coffee, Mother?
No, thank you. My husband is in the glue business, Mr. Russell.
Oh, really?
Yeah, maybe you've seen my factory. It's in that old barn down on
Cream,
the pike.
Father?
You know I never take cream, Alice. I'm making the best darn glue in the country today, Mr. Russell.
Sugar, Father.
I had sugar. Yes, sir, Mr. Russell. It took me 10 years to develop the formula. I worked on it during my spare time while I was clerking for Old Man Lamb.
Now, Father, please... Oh, isn't that someone at the door? Now, I wonder who it could be. Father, you'd better answer.
I'll get it.
Hey, what was that went through the express?
Only Melina, Father. My, isn't weather a funny thing? Yesterday it was cool and the angels had charge of it.
Yes, the old fool is eating. I want to see him right now.
And today the angels all flew away and someone moved the equator right up to the North Pole.
Thief and swindler that he's going to jail.
Virgil, that sounds like Mr. Lamb.
Maybe I'd better go see what he wants.
Half of that
Excuse
glue
me, Mr.
formula
Russell.
belongs
Yes,
to me,
sure.
and he stole it.
Well, when they got the equator to the North Pole, they just forgot about it. And here we are, aren't we?
You might trust the sweat for 25 years. You go behind my back and try to swindle me.
Perhaps I'd better go and see what's the matter. Excuse me,
You're
Mr.
going to have
Russell.
plenty of time to regret this behind bars. You can't swindle me.
Well, a penny for your thoughts. No, I'll bid more. A rose. A poor little dead rose for your thoughts, Mr. Arthur Russell. Will you ever forgive me?
For what?
Cheer up. Your fearful duty is done, and you can run home as soon as you want to. That's what you're dying to do, isn't it?
Not at all.
You're upset, aren't you?
No, of course not. Of course, this weather does affect
Maybe
one.
it's this ugly little house. Or was it Mother? Or Father? Or me? That's it, isn't it? You know now that everything I told you was a lie. That we haven't any money. That our maid was hired for the day. That the dinner was horrible. That we're just ordinary. That we're not worth anyone's notice.
I tell you, nothing's upset me.
You know, I have the strangest feeling. I feel as if I were going to be with you only a few minutes more in my whole life. You're never coming here again. Why, it's finished, isn't it?
Look, I'm afraid you're tired and nervous. I really ought to be going.
Yes, of course you are. When everything's spoiled, people can't do anything else but run away from it. So goodbye.
Well, at least we'll only say good night.
No. Goodbye, Mr. Russell. That's the only word, isn't it? Goodbye. Let's be honest enough to say it. Goodbye, Mr. Russell. Goodbye.
Sorry for busting in like I did, Adams, but you've got to admit I thought I had cause.
You ought to know me better than to think I'd steal, Mr. Lamb.
Like he said, every bit of that glue formula was worked out on his own time.
And he never would have resigned from your company to start his factory if he hadn't wanted to get money from me, Mr. Lamb. He thought I was ashamed because I didn't have things other girls have.
I know, Alice. I'd feel the same way about my daughter. Well, come down and talk to me tomorrow, Adams. There's just a chance, mind you. I might put a little money in that factory of yours.
Why, Mr.
Well, good night.
Good
night, everybody.
Did you hear that, Mother? Why, if he does that, Adams Glue will be the biggest thing in the country someday.
Yes, Virgil. And Alice will be able to hold up her head with any girl in town. Isn't it wonderful, Alice?
Yes, very wonderful. I'm glad everything turned out so well. So very well. Hadn't you better trot off to bed, Dad? You've had such a hard day.
Yeah, but from now on, it's going to be easy. Good night, baby. Coming, Mother?
Yes, Virgil. In a moment. Alice, what about Mr. Russell?
Oh, he left.
I'm sorry.
It's all right.
No, it isn't. It's our fault. Your father's and mine. Can you ever forgive us?
There's nothing to forgive, Mother. It's just the way things are. It's all so clear to me now. You can't try to be what you're really not. The only good in pretending is the fun we get out of fooling ourselves that we fool somebody else.
I'm so sorry, Alice.
I'm not. Run on to bed now. I'll turn out the light. I want to go out on the porch for a minute.
Good night, dear.
Night, Mother.
Hello there.
Who's there?
The fellow who thought he was falling in love, remember? But he didn't know if it was you or the moonlight.
You came back?
I never went away. I've been waiting right here.
Why?
I was waiting for you.
But it's all over. You know me now for what I am. A liar and a cheat and...
Don't you know that people in love are deaf, blind, and dumb? They can be poor and still be rich. They can wear rags and be dressed like kings and queens. They can be nobodies and be envied by all the somebodies.
Those are people in love.
I love you, Alice. I loved you yesterday. I love you today. I love you tomorrow. Doesn't that mean anything to you? Do you hear me? I love you. Alice, I love you. Please, say something.
Gee whiz.
Thank you, Deanna, Alan, and Lucille. You were splendid. I know you all did your extra best because it was for a most worthy cause, the Motion Picture Relief Fund. You see, ladies and gentlemen, the money that would ordinarily go to the stars who appear here in the Gulf Screen Guild Theater, Gulf gives instead to the Motion Picture Relief Fund to help meet its needs and to build a home for the members of the film industry who can no longer take care of themselves. Next week, ladies and gentlemen, the screen's great comedy hit, Nothing Sacred, with Robert Taylor, Barbara Stanwyck, and James Gleason. Music will be by Oscar Bradley, assisted by Frank Tours. Until then, this is Roger Pryor speaking for your neighborhood good Gulf dealer and saying, good night, everyone.
And now, Gulf brings you a suggestion from Washington about national defense. Help assure America's national safety and freedom. Join your friends and neighbors in helping to defend our great country by buying United States defense bonds and stamps. Buy them at your post office or bank and keep on buying them. For complete details, write USA, care of this station. Deanna Durbin may currently be seen in Universal's It Started With Eve. Alan Marshall appears through the courtesy of David O. Selznick Productions. Lucille Gleason will soon be seen in RKO's The Gay Falcon. Tune in next week when the Gulf Theater presents Robert Taylor, Barbara Stanwyck, and James Gleason in Nothing Sacred. Bud Easton speaking. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.